Welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast. Imagine being responsible for singing your workout music.
I probably wouldn't work out. Considering most of my workout music is screamo too.
You'd be out of breath, dying the whole time. Well, welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast, everybody. Season 2 continues.
Strength before weakness, everybody.
The epic saga. Why strength before weakness?
I just read it on your water bottle.
Oh, okay.
Life before death.
Edge Dancer.
Journey.
That's
before
all.
destination.
We have a guest joining us today, a very special guest.
Very important.
Thank you.
Special
His name
guest.
is Caleb. Not my son, Caleb.
Obviously.
Maybe my
That'd be
son.
remarkable.
I mean, maybe my time-traveling son from the future.
Oh my gosh.
My parents might have something to say about
I always thought you guys looked similar.
Oh, no. Yes. Well, if so, I'm proud. Let me say that.
just in case.
I did something right. Well, we have just a special treat lined up later on in the episode after our drink break. We're going to be sorting Caleb into his Knight's Radiant house. That's
They're orders.
That's a thing,
sir.
right?
Gosh, this
orders.
isn't Harry Potter, man. Come on.
I mean, it kind of is, though.
Shh. No, it's not.
Houses doesn't fit in or through. They're not houses.
That's true.
That's
They're
true.
orders.
How many aren't there? Like
Orders,
10,
levels?
how many
There's
levels are there?
13?
Oh.
It might be 10. I forget. It's been a while
10
since I read the
orders.
description.
There might
10
be 13.
levels.
There might be 13.
It's either 10 or 16.
Whoever has the top
Could be
level
16.
gets. It would
16
have to be the
would work, too.
bondsmith.
Brandon does like the number 16, so.
Yeah,
Yes, because
Well, now I gotta Google
things.
it. I gotta really be careful how I'd spell.
That could turn up some very different results.
through. Yeah, just don't go to images direct.
10
like, immediately.
semicircular levels,
There is 10.
with each level being 18 stories tall,
The common
for a
rooms.
total of 180 floors.
They're house common rooms originally. But yeah, so there's Brandon Sanderson has a Knight's Radiant Order quiz. Jeremiah and I have taken it, and we thought it'd be fun. Caleb hasn't taken it, so we thought it'd just be fun to have him on, have him take it. Banter.
Back and forth.
But before we
Decide
get to
whose
that,
order is better and who is the
Yeah,
better
exactly.
person in this group.
Oh,
Obviously,
yes.
it's me, but you know, spoilers.
or we'll be trying to influence Caleb's answers to like get him like
No, we can't. We
more
can't influence.
like edge dancer answers. Come to the edge dancer side.
I don't even know what answers would provide what, to be honest with you.
I mean, we can talk about that as it go through.
That's true.
Okay,
But Caleb, you gotta be honest to
I will.
yourself.
Yeah,
And then I will
We need to
also
figure out what
analyze.
house you're going into.
this is important. This will affect the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're being
Yeah.
sent off after this, okay? You're not going home. We have a war to fight. Odium's at our doorsteps!
We need more men.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Strong opening. So, well, as always,
As always.
not as strong as last week's opening, the cockroach rights,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but still strong. So, let's start. Jeremiah, do you want to start talking about your sci-fi fantasy exploits?
No. No, I was joking.
Well,
oh, God. I've
Swim it off.
been doing a lot of the same. Still, Had I finished Trust by the last episode? I think so.
yes, I'm pretty sure you had. Yeah, and like 2 other books
Shut up.
at least. How many books have you finished?
I
since
think
then?
I'm on. I think 2 at this point. I think I'm halfway through because I've read iJedi, and then while reading through iJedi, iJedi takes place after
Jedi Academy series. You said
takes place. So I found out it takes place in the middle of the Jedi Academy trilogy. These take place like 7 years after the Battle of Yavin, and the timeline. You know, Thrawn has already come and done his thing, and then there's a whole storyline with Luke turning to the dark side. That's a comic book series. So while I was reading iJedi, I didn't realize that it interlaps with the Jedi Academy trilogy, and so a couple of things happened that kind of made me like, oh, well, now I really want to read the Jedi Academy trilogy. Yeah. So I finished iJedi, which was really good. I really still like Corran Horn as a character. Just by his
best name in Star Wars.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Corran Horn.
He just rips Luke a new one, and a couple different points, telling Luke that he's too good. He believes too much in the light side.
Right. I mean,
not that he believes too much in the light side, but he believes too much that darkness can be forgiven.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you were saying last week was sort of convincing, a little bit. About like Luke forgiving some guy who killed a bunch of people or something.
Yeah, so that happens in the Jedi Academy trilogy. So I'll figure out all the ins and outs of that as a continue. But I'm on the second book now because I've owned all three the trilogy for a while. And I think I went and read the first book a while ago and then just got bored, so I just didn't. And the first book again was kind of a hard to get through, but now that I'm in the second book, I'm actually really enjoying it. So
of the Jedi Academy series.
The Jedi Academy series, yeah.
It's a trilogy, right?
I don't remember what the first book is called or the second book. Actually, they're good though. Poor Akbar he's getting framed, and
Admiral Akbar.
Admiral Akbar is getting framed. He's no longer an admiral now.
Is he yelling, "It's a trap" the whole time? It's a trap.
He's not, because he's not being wasted. His potential's not being wasted by the Last Jedi movie. No, he was flying Leia to a special thing in his ship. You find out that you don't know this till later, but you find out that he was set up, but his ship fails, and they end up crashing through this giant cathedral of like this planet that a lot of people don't visit because they're like a non-human race. And with the Empire being all awful, they didn't invite humans, but they invited Akbar and Leia to come see this thing, and so he flew him there, and it's like a special event where like there's like this place is like covered in storms, but this cathedral they have does like a wind chime type sound thing that's like is like a beautiful melody that not a lot of people have heard. Well, anyway, as they're coming in, something happened to his ship going through the storm, and he ended up crashing into the cathedral, crushing it, and killing like hundreds of people.
Admiral Akbar?
That's not a good thing.
And so
it's time to take his license away.
Well,
getting up there.
So he thinks it's his fault. But it's not. He was set up. His ship was sabotaged. But the person who sabotaged his ship is also one of his closest confidants.
Admiral Bakbar.
BS. Bakbar. Anyway, so now Admiral Akbar is in exile. He exiled himself back to Calamari. Calamari? Is that the place?
I think it is, actually. Well, that's his race. His race is Calamari, which is
I think it's gotta be Calamari.
Funny.
Yeah, it's gotta be Calamari.
I mean, that has to mean that, like, you know, obviously, evolutionary theory in play here. That has to mean that his species, you know, evolved off of Earth, and that they were at one time Calamari, or they were like.
How do you know it's from Earth? We're in a galaxy far, far away, bro.
But it's so. What is it? So is it a translation? Because to have
they could have been. They could still be Calamari, just not on Earth.
Well, but
you trying to what? You saying life only exists on Earth, Josh?
No, I'm saying because
that's very Earthist of you.
I'm saying because they're called Calamari, and that is that word means,
or is that
I don't know.
Other people call them.
Oh, it's like a pejorative. I think it is I think it's their race, but. Calamari is like what squid?
They're Mon Cala, the Mon Cal.
Mon Calamari.
So they're not that
Mon Cala is their planet, Mon Calamari, and the Corran people.
But do you get my point though? It's like if they're Mon Calamari and Calamari in our world is squid.
Sure.
And they're like kind of amphibian looking, or not amphibian, but like
bug-eyed kind of.
Well, you know what's interesting? Calamari is squid, but the other species on Mon Cal is the Corran, who are very squid-like. Their faces have like tentacles and everything. They're more squid-like than I'd say
the Calamari
than the Calamari are. Calamari, I don't know.
Anyways,
we'll just
point made.
We'll just kill one, bake them up, and see if they taste like calamari, and we'll go from there. Anyway, he exiled himself after killing hundreds of people.
Wow.
So that's like a side story going on, and then over in the good old Jedi Academy that was just formed. It's been like a month, and Luke's already had a student fall to the dark side and die. So, doing good.
Just gotta forgive him.
Spoilers, by the
You
way,
just
for
gotta
Jedi Academy trilogy that came out in the 90s.
Well, at least you didn't tell us the name. Then we'll just be reading that book, just wondering which one's gonna die. Which one's gonna die?
Exar Kun's in it, which is an old Sith from four millennia ago.
Force Ghost or bad Force Ghost.
He's a bad Force Ghost. This is back before like the movies, the prequels came out, so there's like a lot less.
I'm reading Darth Plagueis right now, and they talked about Darth Bane, how Darth Bane was able to put his like somehow imprint like his essence onto some artifact, or maybe it's like his tomb or something, so he can like basically harass people if they come to that the Sith homeworld or whatever.
Darth Bane is in the Clone Wars, right? TV show. He makes an appearance.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like I knew that he had appeared at some point.
He appears to Yoda on a planet.
Okay, huh.
And then Yoda faces Dark Yoda.
But it's a different version. Like, the Sith version of that is different than the Jedi. It's not like... Because the Jedi if the Jedi do it and become one with the Force, with Qui-Gon's technique, then they can just appear anywhere. They can go anywhere, it seems like. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Sith, they're more... I
see it more of the Sith, see it more of like they've just so much hatred that their hatred have left an imprint of themselves.
They haven't accepted death. It's like a little bit different than accepting death and becoming one with the Force. They're more of like refusing to let go in a way of this object or whatever. Anyway.
I will say this: what I like about all these older books that came out even before like the prequels did, because their whole view of the Force right now still is that whole it binds us, surrounds us, everything. They like the more religious aspect instead of a scientific aspect with midichlorians. Mm. So everything, it definitely is a little bit more spiritual-esque, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very interesting. Although, definitely just have people do some crazy stuff with the Force in these books. Like in I, Jedi, Corran, like... Literally, there's a scene where a bomb explodes right in front of him, and he is able to use the Force to like absorb the power. But if he doesn't use that power, then it'll basically kill him. Mm-hmm. So he has to use the Force in some way to like
explode something else,
or just use it in a different way. Like he can't. So in his ancestral line, there, the point of the story, the book, his ancestral line is notoriously known for not being able to use telekinesis, lift objects. Like they're horrible at it. So there's a couple different times where he absorbs power and then is able to use the telekinesis then.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting stuff. But yeah, so I've still been reading that, a lot of Star Wars. I do think after I finish this trilogy, I'm gonna switch it up and read the Icewind Dale trilogy from
yeah.
R.A. Salvatore, the Drizzt books. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hence why I've started pulling out the Dark Alliance game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what made me think of it, but I just thought of it and I have wanted to read. I've read the first three, I guess technically it's prequels. The Dark Elf trilogy prequels is what it's called.
Did they come first, or he wrote the
Icewind Dale came out first, and then later on he wrote the Dark Elf trilogy.
Okay.
They're just now labeled Dark Elf as 1, 2, 3. Those were good though.
Is the Homeland trilogy? Is that what it is? Or is that the first one?
Homeland's the first book.
Okay.
I know it's called the Dark Elf trilogy, is what this referred to as. Mm-hmm. I was looking, there's like 36 books in the Drizzt saga.
There's a lot. I read like 20 something.
Oh, wow.
And then stopped.
Actually, if he doesn't show up in the Baldur's Gate 3 game, I'll be disappointed. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to be my next read. I'm going to switch it up from Star Wars a little bit. I will go back to it because I'm definitely hooked on Star Wars and wanting to get through a lot of their stuff. And I want to get through the New Jedi Order series, which is in like another 20 books. I technically have gotten through 7 of them, but I might go back and read them again.
Technically, you've read 2 books in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
2.5. I'm like halfway through.
Shouldn't take it. Okay. Easy.
I've read 6 books this year. How's
easy?
Is that... To be fair, these are 300.
If you wanted to, you could read all that this year.
These are like 300-page books, and they're like super easy to read. And I have a lot of time in the ambulance when I'm not.
Right.
When I'm ignoring my other responsibilities, like patient care. Just sit in the back with my book out. It's like, you're fine, man. You're fine.
You'll live.
I'm gonna read this to you real quick.
Yeah. So Luke Skywalker closed his eyes and meditated. Other than that, I've been playing SWTOR. It's been fun. I actually just started the Flash. So apparently there's two, maybe 3 flashpoints that deal with Revan. And so I just got the quest and did the first flashpoint that deals with Revan's. There's like a story arc with him in the game. So I just started that. Did the first flashpoint. So that's been fun. I've been playing Sith Inquisitor.
Just by yourself, or you've been playing with Josh?
Just by myself.
Okay.
Just, I got nothing else to do. And there's no other big games coming. I don't want to start a new big game because Harry Potter's about to come out.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to start anything big until then.
Right.
I was going to replay or start playing Gotham Knights again.
Oh, yeah.
But then once again, I don't want to get into a game with Harry Potter about to come out.
I like Gotham. The thing I like about Gotham Knights, though, is it feels like the way it's structured feels like
it's easy to pick up and put down.
It's easy to like pick up
a lot of little things.
Yeah, well, he's like, you go out for the night and you do something, and then you come back for the night, and then even though you could have done a lot or a little bit, but you still feel like you've progressed something somehow, So, like, even though I haven't played it in probably a couple weeks, I don't feel like I've put it down. You know what I mean? So
it's been a bit since I've played it, but I know everything. I remember everything that happened.
Right.
Like, I could easily go pick it back up, and it just took me a minute to go get back into the playing and the different little intricacies of attacking and all that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'd be able to get back into it. I will at one point. I'll end up beating it, but with Harry Potter coming, I think that's going to take up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty excited for that game.
Me too.
Sounds like it's a very in-depth game as well.
Yeah. Other than that, we had our first Star Wars 5e D&D session.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was after the last episode.
It was.
Yeah. Because
it was after we recorded it.
It'll have been 2 weeks ago on Thursday.
Yep. So that was fun. Mm-hmm. I think everybody had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I had a good time.
Excited to. I have so much that we can do. It's Star Wars, so there's just a whole galaxy out there for you guys. And stories.
It was fun because everybody played their characters. I mean, there's always a little bit of metagaming, when you're playing, because you're just trying to figure out how to not die.
Yeah.
But, which I thought we were going to for sure.
It was really close.
In that first fight.
If
but
it didn't suck so much at hitting, then we would have died.
Well, literally, just to paint a picture a little bit, shout out to Jiwoo. Josh's brother. Jeremiah's brother. Jeremiah's Josh's brother. Jeremiah's brother is playing a character who was like a prisoner, and Caleb and my characters were bounty hunters that are like trying to deliver him for a bounty, and the deal's going sideways, and Jeremiah, our DM, is like keeps bringing guys in. There's a guy behind. There's 3 guys more came in behind you. There's 3 guys in front of you. There's 2 guys over here.
Okay, it wasn't that many guys. Relax.
I feel like it was more actually.
It was the leader. It was 2 guys flanking him, and then 2 guys came in and flanked you guys.
Yeah,
that was it.
Okay, well, I thought there were more.
Well, there was more later in the bar fight.
I definitely thought there were more.
There was a whole cool little encounter with the bar fight. But.
Well, right. But no, I thought there was more because I was like, I think he's trying to tell us don't try to fight. So I was kind of metagaming a little bit. But then...
actually, I am used to Caleb's... most of his characters are very blunt and just are like, if you're going to attack me, I'm going to attack you. So I was actually banking on Caleb going ahead and starting the fight. And this time he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't. And
it was Jew that started the fight this time.
He just like squirreled away and like did a big force blast, knocked us down.
Yeah.
And the enemies. And then like the whole fight started. It was amazing, but I thought we were all going to die. I did get knocked out. My character
both of you did.
Both of you did. Well,
yes.
It was your fault for Jiwoo.
Oh, you punched him at the end of the fight. That's why. That's the other part of that.
Narratively makes sense.
Jew the 13th.
Right. I mean, it does make sense. That someone he would have to answer for that.
That whole sequence narratively made a lot of sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was you guys all played your characters perfectly in that sequence. That was when we started that I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. We're gonna have a good set. We're gonna have a good campaign here because you guys are gonna play your characters legitimately.
When we get the rights from Lucasfilm to animate our campaign into a TV show like Vox Machina, then that'll
sorry, what?
Vox Machina. Sorry. Oh, darn it. I've heard it both ways.
I was not gonna let that one slip.
No, I've heard it both ways.
I'm sorry. Who's gonna animate it? Because it's taken me like 6 weeks to do a 2-second animation.
We'll hire a team. I mean, by that point,
we will have the rights.
We'll have
the backing of Lucasfilm, and
just
At this point, Disney will have lost the rights to Star Wars. Hopefully,
they're
it'll just be for some reason it'll be in the public domain.
Look, that's all I'm asking.
Somehow. Anyway, Caleb, what have you been up to?
A lot of things. I replayed through Fallen Order.
Okay.
So I can get ready for when Jedi Survivor comes out.
Did you do anything different in that playthrough than your last one?
Not really.
Okay.
Because it's not really much different you can do.
That's
It's a pretty
true.
linear game.
I went through and I'm missing like 2% exploration on Kashyyyk, which is so large, so I'm not going to go back and find the things. So I went and just did everything I could.
That's pretty much what I did. I just did a lot of exploring my playthrough.
Yeah.
And just like, if I didn't get it, then it is what it is.
Yeah. And I realized that I hate all of the bounty hunters in that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Until you get
It's kind of a fun mechanic,
you can
though.
like two-shot the... It is an interesting mechanic, which is fun.
Because
but
you never
I
know
hate
when they're going to show
fighting
up.
them.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool characters.
I agree with you on that.
but
Because they
I
have
don't
like
fighting
combos
them.
that you can't dodge and you can't counter.
In
So
fact,
you just get hit.
In fact, I think my least favorite sequence in that game was probably the fighting pit.
Yeah.
Where because there's a lot of you fight some bounty hunters in there and some monsters and stuff. That thing was just brutal.
Yeah, you
For me,
just
at
like
least.
fight monsters and then there's a bunch of bugs, which is
It
always
also
fun.
just felt weird because it kind of... I didn't like it because it just...
It did feel kind of out of place.
It narratively just felt out of place.
Yeah. I think it was
Like, we need the
supposed
game
to.
a little bit longer, so let's just throw this in here. Which is fine. It was still cool, and it had relevance to one of the characters, but...
It has some end game. It's like an end game thing too, right? You can like go back and play in that arena, like fight in that arena,
Maybe?
can't
I
you?
don't think so.
I've never tried. So.
I think the endgame arena stuff is in one of the tombs.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't really done any of that. So
I haven't either. I'm pretty sure because it looks like a dream sequence.
and then Respawn's the one that made those games, right?
Yeah.
So they just announced they're extending their
April.
release date by a few weeks to make sure, like 6 weeks or something, to make sure it's
actually done.
Which I would
polished, which seems
prefer.
Yeah,
Profoundly prefer compared to every other game that's coming out recently where it's not finished.
Right.
And we have to wait a year for it to be optimized.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Cyberpunk, and literally every other game. Forspoken's coming to mind.
Yeah.
It's just a common thing now where just every game is just being released super early for some reason.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know, I watched a couple videos about video game development, especially back in the day of like the old Ratchet and Clank games and all that. Apparently the crunch was real for those games. I can only imagine how it is now.
Yeah.
Trying to get games out fast. I mean, probably the burnout. I know the Ratchet and Clank games, there are people who are working like 18-hour days, like, yeesh. Like getting
for
like,
months.
For months.
Not
To get
for,
a
like,
game,
a
to
couple
get a game
weeks,
out in
but-
like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once the game's out, you're not done because
You're
you got to
done.
support it, patches,
Well, it used to be you were done, but
right?
Yeah, because at least they were finished games.
DLC, you got to get
Now you
DLC
gotta
ready.
do patches. Now you gotta do DLC. Now you gotta finish the story that you didn't finish to begin with because of DLC, and
fix.
it's all a cash grab.
also
It's
like
kind of
the
sad.
whole structure of games is different now. Like they emphasize a lot more replayability and less or not really replayability. Like you can always play through the story again, but they have a lot of end game stuff now that
Which is cool.
wasn't a
yeah.
thing.
I do like that. I like having more stuff to do, but sometimes I miss just having a complete game. That's why I liked Fallen Order so much. That is a complete game from start to finish.
Yep.
There's not much else to do. I mean, you have that arena, and you can go, but just play through the story again.
But like you don't need to grind it for anything. You just get to the end and then you're done.
And like it brings me back to the old days, like
Yeah.
with like the Force Unleashed games or other single player games. The old Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games come to mind. They're just complete. What else have you been doing?
Also read through all of Lost Metal.
Oh yes.
More again or
Not again, no.
Okay.
Just the one time.
He hasn't been on.
How quickly did you read through it, Caleb?
2 days.
See, he got me beat. It took me a bit to do.
Now, did you sleep?
Well, I was sick, so I was just laying in the bed, reading all day long
Okay,
at my parents' house. So
nice.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the reading the Lost Metal healed you?
it did its best, but no.
Oh, okay.
Well, I tried.
Like when the book finished, you're like, I'm well. It's a miracle.
I mean, I'm sure it healed some people, just in not the
Probably,
physical
yeah.
way.
Right.
It probably broke a few
Probably,
people too.
yeah, probably
Probably, yeah.
sent some people into a spiral.
I mean, it was a good ending.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
It was satisfying.
It sent me in a little bit of a spiral, but like a good spiral.
Yeah.
In a series where characters can go on living for a long time, though, it can be a bummer to know that
Spoilers for Lost Metal in 3, 2, 1.
when when Brandon Sanderson kills a character,
They're
Nope,
gone.
I'm convinced
Yeah.
Wayne's coming back.
spoilers.
Cut that. Or here, hold on, real quick. You're gonna
so
stitch something in
hard.
the front, okay?
Okay.
Spoilers for Lost Metal in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Now you're gonna stitch that in front, okay?
I will do that.
And you can also leave this here too, just so people can know that I
Could you
figured
do
it
that
out.
in a more feminine voice? Though? You sound like
Lost Metal
GLaDOS.
spoilers in 3, 2, 1. That was more like going from a gay voice, but sure.
If I can, I'm going to use that one.
Anyway, he'll be back. Convinced.
Also playing through Destiny some more, doing some of the later season stuff.
Oh, yeah, I jumped on that the other night.
Yeah.
I'd like to get. That's a game I'd like to get back into. I just haven't
Lightfall's
been, I haven't
coming
been playing games much, except when we play Divinity.
Oh yeah. Also Divinity.
Yeah,
That's always fun. It's nice to get off a couple hours to play that.
Yeah.
I love those tactical.
it definitely
Games.
scratches a little bit of the D&D itch, because
Yeah.
like combat wise, it feels very much the same. Only it's not as much to manage.
Yeah. You're not really dealing with the actual numbers. You're just
Right.
You need to
point
play.
and click and then strategizing.
You need to play Baldur's Gate 3. That gets a little bit more crunchy.
Is that the same?
It is made by the same
Click.
people,
Like
and it's the
click
same
attack.
It's the same
combat.
style, yeah.
But this is literally
But
it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like same rules and everything.
Do you roll dice?
You do actually,
Okay.
not in combat. I mean, I'm sure like electronically it does.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But most of those games do. But like literally, like when you're in conversation, you can do like a wisdom check and it'll roll.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
You have to roll it. If you fail it, well,
I think you have to roll to set your stats at the beginning too.
it didn't
I
make me
forget
roll.
exactly.
Isn't
yeah.
that,
I think
isn't
you
that
can,
game?
actually.
Is that game technically not finished?
It's
still
not even out yet. It's in
still
early access.
It's
They're not-
supposed to finish this year.
How long has it been?
They're not
now?
pretending
2
that it's
years.
out yet.
Yeah, it's 2 years. They're very much open about the fact it's still in early access.
Yeah.
But they
So
have
weird.
still, despite that, the early access is provided. I mean, my first playthrough run of it, I got pretty much to the end. I don't even think I got to the complete like all you can do. I definitely didn't do all you could do, but I got pretty far. And I still was looking. I had 25 hours in the game,
Dang.
and that is level 4. Not even finished with the first
Oh, yeah.
act.
You're locked in the story point, and also you can't get to level 5.
You can now.
You can now.
I think you can get to level 5 now. I think that came in patch 9.
I played through with both my brothers, and we finished everything that you could do, and we were stuck at level 4 for like half of when we were playing.
I heard that they did level 5 now because a lot of people were happy about it because that gives a lot of people like second attacks and
yeah,
stuff.
that makes a huge difference in characters in D&D.
I could be wrong, but they've added multiple classes, races already throughout, and there's gonna be more when the game obviously releases. But I mean, this is just the fact off of just what you could have played when we get until what 4 and like not even the first act finished. And I know I didn't do everything because I just was playing in 25 hours. It's a huge game. Like it was, I would definitely say it was worth spending the money when I did because it gave me a lot of enjoyment when I played through it. I actually downloaded it again and played a little bit before you guys got here. It's a good game.
It's definitely
Nice.
really good. I'm looking forward to when it's done. Which is that late this year?
Late this year.
That's when it's supposed to be done. I think they already pushed it back a year though. Like it was really supposed to be done late last year.
I heard it's supposed to be done this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully they stick to it. Either way,
I mean, it's fun.
it's fun
As
either
long
way.
as they finish it at some point.
Yeah,
I've already paid, so
they will. This is these guys.
They better.
they did Divinity. You know,
We
they're
decided not to finish
a
this.
good company at this
yeah,
point. So.
they've still got a good reputation.
Yeah, they make some good games, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely, as far as like those CRPG games go, they're on it right now.
Nice.
And also playing through Breath of the Wild. for when that sequel comes out in March, I think it is.
And you played through that before, or you're just replaying?
I never beat Ganon, but I did.
Oh, okay.
I did pretty much everything else, or was working on doing everything else. There's
a lot. I know. I beat Ganon, but I probably didn't do as much other things because I was beating Ganon.
Yeah.
And I borrowed the game. So I had to give it back.
You
so.
can probably borrow it again if you want. Steph's on Animal Crossing now, so.
Okay.
She beat Ganon and was like so upset. She was like, "It just reverted back to my last save." And I was like,
in most games.
"Yeah." She's like, "So what was the point?" I was like, "You beat him. You beat the game." She was like, "But I didn't get anything for it."
Did you tell her to do the Master Sword trials?
No, I don't think so.
That's their equivalent of Endgame, basically.
I haven't. She like I said, she kind of jumped. I have never played. I played maybe an hour of the game. Yeah. I didn't really like I don't like when my weapons break. Yeah, I have to constantly find other weapons.
Yeah, that part's kind of annoying.
And I don't know. I just didn't like the game very much. I've never been.
The combat is less dependent. The combat is less dependent on. Well, I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot you can
get enough.
Like, it's not technical.
Right.
It's you block, you hit.
It's puzzle. It's more of a puzzle game.
I was just never much of a Zelda guy in general. So, yeah. I mean, I played some of the older games, but
I became a Zelda guy on Wind Waker on the GameCube. I never played Ocarina.
I watched my brother play that.
I played Ocarina, but like after the fact. I never beat Ocarina.
Ocarina?
I mean, I've still
Ocarina. That was in 64.
Ocarina. Sorry.
No, that's a valid way to pronounce it.
That is a valid way. I guess it's valid.
Begrudgingly. Nice.
Yep. And now reading through Tress.
Nice.
How far? Oh, you just finished part one, right?
Part one, yeah. I haven't read any more yet.
You're not going to finish that in 3 days? 2 days?
I mean, it's already been 2 days, so no.
I finished that one pretty quickly. That was a good read.
It's a pretty...
It's
going to be pretty quick.
The chapters are pretty short. So it's kind of like... And they end... kind of very cliffhangery, so it definitely is a page turner.
Who's telling the story?
Yep, that's true.
He's got to keep
What?
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 No, Doug. Gosh.
Oh, Doug.
That is like a big running thing.
I've noticed that. I'm like, I'm just I barely get it. It's like...
Oh, you haven't gotten to the Doug part yet? Have you?
Oh, is that interest? Is that why it's become such a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a trust thing.
I don't know if I have gotten to that.
You wouldn't understand it. It's a trust thing. Yeah, you'll understand. It just has to wait in storytelling. I mean, I can tell you it's not much of a spoiler, but it's up to you guys.
I'll read it, and if I'm at the end, I'm like, I think I missed it, then I'll ask you.
You won't miss it. It's not something that's missed. It's heavily referenced throughout the rest of the book after he says it.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, my mom actually was listening to it because she drove down here last week.
Oh, really?
Now your mom is into Sanderson? Or just that book?
She's somewhat into Sanderson. I showed it to my sister, and then they're reading through the Skyward series now.
I do think Trust is a good starting off point for someone who's starting with Brandon Sanderson.
The book is also beautiful.
It has a lot of... I can't wait for him to come in. It has a lot of Cosmere references in it, but nothing that's just like, if you don't... Like, it's not like it's to the point where, like, if you don't understand the Cosmere, you wouldn't get it. It's more just like, oh, that's just more world-building stuff.
Right.
Because it's Hoy talk. It's Hoy just saying... And half of what he's saying, I don't even know if it's legit, so... Yeah. He said got multiple names in there. I'm like, I don't know these characters that he's referencing. Like, should I know these characters? Yeah. I Googled one. I was like... And there's nothing. I was just like, I guess he's just bringing up random people.
Brandon's just flexing on us.
How did Alzheimer's just get referenced?
Yeah, I've wondered if that book would be a good... Like, I want my wife to let me try to read it to her, but...
It'd be a good book to read, easy book to read. Just
because more of a lighter introduction than, like, Mistborn.
Steph and I want a book... Steph and I are trying to find a book for me to read to her until I read together.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do Harry Potter because I feel like it's copying. But we're trying to find I was debating doing the Sword of Shannara, but then I picked the Sword of Shannara up again. I was like, this is a long book.
Yeah.
And this is pretty extensive and it's like older. So like some of the words are like big.
Yeah.
So this is going to be hard for me to read. But Tress would be good.
Tress would be good.
Have you also read through what's it called? Wingfeather Saga.
Oh yeah. Andrew Peterson.
You have the second one over there on the shelf.
Oh, is it by Andrew Peterson?
Yeah.
It's
He
the
wrote it.
book that's like the darkness of the dark sea.
Yeah.
That's
On
darker than
on the
darkness.
Dark Sea of
edge of the
Darkness.
dark sea of darkness. So
Yeah,
it's a
every time I read that title, I get a chuckle.
it's very the humor is sort of like if Hoyd was writing a children's
That's what
book.
my mom said. Like it was, the narration is similar to
Yeah.
what Tress is.
Maybe I'll have to check it out.
Humorous, but it is kind of a children's story. But I believe because you have adult characters in there, and as the series goes, the characters are growing up. So I think it does get more, while still being whimsical and stuff. It gets more.
It definitely
serious.
gets more serious later.
Whimsy.
I have not read that whole series. I've
It's
read.
pretty good.
I want to. I'm definitely planning on reading it to my kids.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. You should read Alcatraz versus Evil Librarians to your kids.
Yeah, I that's another book series I've thought that I would read to them. We'll read to them when they start doing better, reading through books together. Right now, we're trying to read through the second Harry Potter. They want to watch the movie so bad, especially Jack. He's like, "Can we read the whole thing tonight?" Because he just wants to watch the movie.
Sure, Slade will be up till
And I'm like, Jack, we're not
6
going to be
a.m.
able to do
3
that.
days from now.
And then he doesn't want to sit there when I'm reading, but yeah, I really want them to read those books before they watch the movies, just to understand the
proper
experience.
baseline.
Just to understand the experience of reading a book series.
I mean, I watched the
you
movies
watched it.
before I read the books.
So did I. Well, most of it, not all of it.
I think I read first.
I actually watched the movies multiple times before I read the books.
Yeah.
That was like in a weird phase of mine where I was like in a weird spot in life, and so I would just sit at home and watch a movie and
Harry
play a
Potter.
video game at the same time. And it was Harry Potter like through on. So I went through those 8 movies like multiple times.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to read them. Ended up enjoying them.
The rest is history.
Depression, guys. It does great, wonderful things.
Well,
What have you been up to?
well, I've been writing. As goes without saying.
Poor fool.
Baby butt cannons.
I was like half 6 and like delirious when I read that, and so that's why I didn't respond until later.
When I first saw the message, I thought you were saying the words "baby butt cannon" cannot be in my story.
No.
Like, how would that even come up? Now it has to be there. That's why I said what I said.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? He misinterpreted something.
Yeah.
No.
I want to
So-
know the
Context?
the context of what baby butt cannon.
It's a character says that in the episode.
Which character? Do we know him? Do I know him?
Yeah, you do. I don't want to tell you.
Is it Rowan? It's Rowan.
It's not wrong.
Dang it. It's definitely the weird guy that's with Rowan.
Yeah. it is.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a little more sense. The what's he called? What's he call
His
himself?
name's Jack. He calls himself the Master of Essence.
The Master of Essence.
Yeah.
Jack.
Did
Did your son say baby butt cannon?
No.
That's why. Okay.
I don't want to tell you the context.
Don't worry about it. I'll read
But
it. Let's read it.
I'm hoping that when you come to it, I'll probably ask you to read it. You could both read it before it airs because I just want to make sure it hits right.
Yeah.
It lands right. I think it will.
Doesn't
though.
feel like out of place at all.
Yeah, I think it will.
Just randomly yells out baby butt cannon. And they're in the middle of a battle. Josh, I don't think this fits here.
But I needed to say the words.
All right, that's fair.
It just,
It's his battle cry. Baby butt cannon.
it is a fight scene. I will say that. There is a reason.
You do know that, like, at this point now that, I mean, whatever happens, you're going to have some super, like, serious scene in the future that like, solidifies the baby butt cannon as, like, a legit...
As canon.
As a canon. As, like, a legit thing, and, like, he wasn't just crazy.
I mean, if you read it, you'll be like, oh, yeah. That makes sense. Like,
Fits.
but
I mean, knowing the character says it, I can already tell you that I think it fits.
it's a moment of trauma. That's all I'll say. But,
Oh, no. Are they getting baby butts shot at them? Is Anakin on the prowl again, killing kids?
Yes. So anyway, I'm writing. I'm trying to. There's a there's a contest that I want to enter in April. I want to. Well, it's the entry is due by April, like late April, and so I'm trying really hard to finish this season of my story for Mithril, so that I can. Because I'm like, if I start trying to do shiny new thing. Then I'll get distracted and I'll be like, I don't want to write that other thing, because I'm doing shiny new thing.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep myself from actually starting to write, like just start writing something. So yeah, I've been trying to write a lot more consistently. So I'm like on episode 43, I think. I'm trying to end it around episode 50. So, but I'm also. This is also will help me finish it. I think I said last time episode, but it also will help me finish it in a satisfying way, because if I can get enough,
just take your time to get there.
Yeah, get it all done, and then have time before it's all airing to actually, because I'll still edit it while I'm working on this other project. I'll still do editing. That's a whole different muscle. For the most part, it's a very different muscle from completely new material. You know, when you're trying to you write up to the end of this path, and then you're like, I have to make up more path for the story. Versus the path's here, but it's kind of ugly, so I need to just make it look nicer, make more sense, and so.
I saw that you hit 1K views.
Yeah,
congratulations!
Thank you.
Hit that 1K.
My wife was actually the 1,000th, because
amazing.
I pulled up the app. I was like, I wonder, because I've been kind of watching it, because I've been wondering when I was going to hit 1,000 views, and it was at 999. And Erin and I were in the kitchen, and I was like, "Do you want to be the 1,000th view?" Because she didn't have the app on her phone.
She was the first view and the
so she got it downloaded and looked at, and I was like, I don't know if it'll edit, if it's going to update right away. And then I closed the app, reopened it, 1,000 views.
Oh man, look at that!
So
way to go, Aaron.
Yep. So my wife pushed us over the edge in a good way.
The edge.
So, but yeah. So yeah, writing, playing more of Spiritfarer for the Switch on the Switch. Have you seen that game, Caleb?
I don't think I have.
It's like one of those. It's an indie game, and it's got it's a side scroller, and there's not really any combat. It's thus far
more adventure kind of thing.
More adventure and a little bit of crafting and exploration and stuff. Yeah, but it's an interesting premise. Your character has become the new Spiritfarer. Like, it's like some role in the afterlife, like people that for whatever reason have like unresolved things in their lives, like their souls linger when they either, I don't know if they're dying or if they're like in between death and life, or what exactly is happening. It's kind of I'm not exactly clear on it, but they end up they're in this place, this world, and you'll go to an island, you'll find someone there, and you'll start talking to them, and they'll be like, "Can I come join you on your ship?" And then you're basically like, make sure they're fed, make sure they're happy. Basically, you're trying to make people happy in these games. Yeah. And then whenever they get to a point where they're sufficiently kind of ready to go on to the next life or whatever, then you take them, you fare their spirit through this thing called the Everdor.
Chop their heads off.
Well, it's kind of took me back a little bit. So there was this thing I need this thing for my ship, an icebreaker, so I can get further into the map. And I was finally getting all the materials I needed for it, and the only thing I didn't have was called a spirit flower. And I'm like, okay, where do I get a spirit flower? So I Googled it. And
as one does.
It was like whenever you pass one of your characters through the Everdor, you get a spirit flower. It like shows up in their house. And I was like, oh my word, I'm not gonna be able to use this until
You kill one of your...
Not kill, but essentially...
Lead them to their death.
Let go.
No, you're not leading them to death. You're holding their hand as
Let
they pass
go of
into the
their
next
physical
world.
physical attachments.
Something like that, yeah. Like when they're like...
You sever their physical attachments.
So...
Oh, I like that.
So that the same session I was playing, I, happened to... There was a character that was like... Had like a rough... Like just... I don't know, I don't know if you call it trauma, but they had like issues with their family growing up and they were having a tough time with it. They'd like gotten off your boat. I went and found them and then they were like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go on and be.
It sounds depressing, dude. It sounds awesome, but it sounds really depressing at the same time.
It kind of was, but it's kind of like at the same time, it's like, this person is like thanking you for being like this great person and like always being there for them. Apparently, like you were friends in the real world or whatever.
Sir, I need you to lead to the afterlife so I can use a flower to get an icebreaker.
But I didn't ask them. They told me. That's not my fault.
No, they asked you. You go, oh, thank you. I needed a flower. I mean, yes,
I was hoping you'd say that.
Long enough.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to just die already.
Well, it honestly, being honest though, it was kind of, it's like a bitter in the game emotions, a bittersweet feeling of like, saying goodbye to this character, and then you go to their room at the house that you built for them on the ship, because you build houses and you build a place to cook and you build all the place to farm and all this sorts of stuff. And so you go to their house that's completely empty now, and there's just a flower sitting on their bed, and it's just like, wow, this feels it's a little conflicted here, but I got the icebreaker and we made it to the ice. So thank you.
It turns out there's life at the other side of the ice.
And
so
I've already
guy died for nothing.
Technically, I've already replaced them because I already got someone new on my ship now.
You better if you get them their room.
You got to take the flower out so you can get.
Hell, this house is already ready for you.
It's empty. What else are you gonna do with it?
It's a fun game. It's interesting. It's one of those games that, like, in concept, when you hear it, it sounds like. Lots of times when I hear about those kinds of games, I'm just like, oh.
It sounds relaxing, honestly.
It is. That really is. It really is relaxing,
but also like emotion provoking.
Yeah,
which are some of the best games.
Yeah, it's kind of affecting, but also a relaxing game. Music's really beautiful. That's how I that's how I decided to get it, was listening to the soundtrack while writing. I was like, I'm going to give this game a shot. But anyway.
Nice.
That's pretty much it, besides upgrading my computer so I can play Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out.
Very nice, very nice.
Which...
Couple days?
Yeah.
4 days? 3 days?
The 10th.
Technically,
4 days?
if you pre-order it.
I think if you pre-order on PlayStation, you can play it like 3 days early.
Steam said it too.
Steam does too? Okay.
I don't think it's 3 days for Steam, though.
It's 72 hours. It says on Steam, it says 72 hours.
Does it?
Don't tell me that. I will pre-order that game right this minute.
You can't.
I just got money for my birthday.
Well, I have the Steam app on my phone, so...
Google it. Anyway,
Yes.
say we take a break,
Yeah, let's take a break.
get some
and
drinks, and we'll come back and do the quiz.
We'll find out. We'll sort Caleb.
What Knight Radiant are you? Wait, before we start, have you paused it yet?
No, I've not.
Okay. What Knight Radiant do you think you are?
Are you fuzzy on some of the orders?
I am.
I'm debating between two.
Maybe we'll read them at the beginning, and then see which one you think you sound like, and then
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, that
do
works.
this.
Through the basic descriptions. I forget, is it Stone Warden?
Stoneward is one of them. Yeah.
Probably either Stoneward or Skybreaker.
Okay.
I like
Nice.
it. Alrighty, we'll see.
We'll see. Come back and you'll find out too. Well, we are back and we have wine
Of some variety.
in honor of Jeremiah's birthday, which was how long ago?
6 days ago.
6 days ago.
It was actually last Tuesday.
So yeah, it'll be a week from tomorrow.
And he got some wine on his birthday, so we're drinking it.
It's a Gascon
Ooh.
Malbec from Argentina. Mendoza. It's a 2021 vintage.
Shout out to our Argentinian listeners.
Oh, Don Miguel Gascon, founded in 1884, is the oldest continually operating winery in Mendoza and has long been a cornerstone of Argentine Malbec.
Wow.
This smooth wine is rich and with dark fruit, notes of plum and blueberry with a hint of spicy chocolate. The luscious fruit showcases why Malbec is Argentina's favorite grape. It's terrific with foods off the grill and while you cook.
Interesting.
It has 14% alcohol.
Nice.
It is a red wine, my friends.
Sounds like it has some history.
Most wines do.
About 2 years of history because it's 2021 vintage.
What do you say we try it?
Okay, I'm not usually a wine person, so this will be interesting to see. It sounded good. Spicy chocolate.
It's pretty good. It's dry, but also a little sweet, I feel. It's not as dry as some other reds that I've had.
I've definitely had worse.
Have you?
I may have.
I've had wine that I've liked less, I guess I'll say.
I've had wine like twice, so unless you count communion wine, which is
That's
iffy at best.
stuff.
We need Steph here. She's the wine connoisseur.
That's true, yeah.
I just know if I like it or don't. This was pretty good though. I'd drink it again.
This isn't bad. You know, I usually don't like wine. I usually get really grossed out drinking wine. Like, the more vinegary it tastes, the worse it is. Like, the worse I do with it. And this is pretty... can you call it a smooth wine?
It's a smooth. This is definitely a
Seems
smoother
smooth.
wine.
Smooth red. Well, we've got the quiz pulled up.
The official Knights Radiant Order quiz from Brandon Sanderson himself.
From the man's
He
brain.
wrote it himself.
The Knight Radiant.
They concocted it.
The Order.
And
The quiz.
And it's not just like multiple choice. There's a sliding scale to each. It's not even questions. It's
not.
which I forgot that it wasn't questions, but I knew it was a sliding scale. But yeah, it's literally like this end is this and this end is this, and where along that do you fall? You know, percentage wise. So it'll be interesting to see.
Do you want to start going through each of the orders?
Oh yeah.
Or do we want to do that at the end?
Yeah, do you want to just do the quiz and then we'll figure out what you are?
Yeah.
And then read more about that order?
That works.
We'll just say like Jeremiah's taken it. He's a windrunner.
Obviously.
All the orders have oaths that are like more specific to them. That there's kind of like their ideal of what they strive for. So windrunners strive to protect others. I am an edge dancer. Edge dancers strive to remember. It's like the base oath of the edge dancers. I will remember. So it's like they tend to think of the forgotten. Those are left behind. Windrunners are like the Air Force, the Knights Radiant, because they can fly, and edge dancers are like the medics tend to be because they can heal, and yeah. So but that's just 2 of the 10. So we'll see.
We'll figure out what you are, and then we'll go through some of the other radiants and the other orders as well.
Yeah.
But we don't want to skew your answers at all.
Okay.
So let's just like start and see how far we get, because I'm thinking like, will this take a long time? You know,
how many
if there's a
questions?
lot.
How many?
It says it should only take a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
The fate of Roshar hangs in the balance, and once again, Radiant friends seek to bond with humankind. The Knights Radiant must stand again.
Amen.
All right, Caleb. On a sliding scale, do you tend to wear your heart on your sleeve or wear a poker face?
Poker face. Probably about 80%.
Oh, you're gonna be quick with this. You're gonna be like,
I also
you're gonna know the
probably could answer
percentage
that one
of
for
people.
you.
I mean, I would have said poker face, but I wouldn't have known the percentage for sure.
I would have probably put 90 poker face. Anyway, confident or needs reassurance?
Needs reassurance. 30? Or
It's like
How is
50.
the scale?
It's
Is
like
it
50-50
50-50?
each side, and then you can go
30 towards needs reassurance.
so 80%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on which end.
No, it wouldn't be
Where's-
80%.
where's
It would
zero?
be.
It starts at 50%. You're
Starts at
50%
50?
confidence, 50% you're like halfway.
Yeah, so like 30.
Just show them.
That's what it's like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
So 80%
Okay.
needs reassurance, 20% confident. Okay.
That works.
Cautious, more cautious and more daring.
Cautious. 75. It's like just halfway.
Are you aiming at all towards something? Are you like
Not really,
thinking?
no.
Are you like being like, wait, that doesn't sound very like this order?
Nah.
None of them's really Slytherin. So, although the
Are you Slytherin? No, I never took that quiz either. I
Well, I just mean, like, you know,
none of them are bad.
I just mean like, you know, when you're doing the Harry Potter one, you're like, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. No one wants. Well,
There's quite a bit of
a
people.
lot of people. The people who want to get something else don't want to get Slytherin. You know.
Now, you said earlier that you were thinking either Skybreaker or
Stoneward.
Stoneward. Do you like either of them, or is that just kind of from what you know, that's what you think?
That's just what I think.
Do you have a favorite order?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
They haven't done a whole lot of exploring still in the series.
Do you have a favorite character?
Character.
That's a Knight Radiant.
I was gonna say possibly Syl, but
Okay, well, that's
Whatever.
fair.
it's
She doesn't
might be
count.
adjacent, but
Yeah, whatever.
maybe Renarin.
Interesting. Interesting.
Corrupt Spren.
Do you prefer the library or the dojo?
A bit more towards library, but
Not much.
not much. Like 15.
So put 65%.
From 50, yeah.
65%.
I guess I guess it goes without saying there may be some Stormlight spoilers. Just general about it.
General
You know, when we talk about
comments along the
characters.
way,
Yeah,
yeah.
comments.
Do you tend to go with the wolf pack, or you are a lone wolf?
More lone wolf. Probably 80 again.
Getting close. Trying to guesstimate where it's at on the slider. You a peacemaker or a firebrand?
Peacemaker.
Pacemaker.
Probably again 80.
You fall on the more spiritual side or the skeptical side?
I'll lean a bit towards skeptical. 15, 20.
Put you at 20.
Okay.
Leader or facilitator?
Facilitator. But not far. 10 over the line.
Guard dog or alley cat?
This one
more
was
guard dog.
What does alley cat mean? Like,
Scrappy, like you're gonna fight anything.
okay.
Yeah, more scrappy.
'Cause
Whereas guard dog is more like...
Or
Because when I think of dogs,
I
and-
associate more,
Desperate, yeah.
desperation is what I would associate more with alley cat.
okay. Because when I heard that, I'm thinking more. You know, a cat's more solitary. Dogs like people, like affection. I don't know.
In world reference, Kaladin would be more guard dog. Lift would be more alley cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
makes
that
sense.
definitely, it sort of makes sense to me. Yeah.
Guard dog, what are you thinking? Like,
80.
nice. Compassion or dispassionate?
That's where I get into like expressive versus what's internal.
Yeah.
Because I internally am more compassionate, but expressive is more dispassionate.
I feel like I'd go more internal.
Yeah.
Because that's like,
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
yeah.
I could be more.
That's
I'm
what
very
the spread would
compassionate.
see.
I'm very compassionate, but I
Exactly.
also don't show externally a lot of passion. At least at work, I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at
To
your
an
work,
extent.
that would be helpful.
I can. I got to be sort of have a little bit of dispassion.
Put that at like 60.
60 passionate.
Yeah.
You're only 60% passionate. Are you more flamboyant or reserved?
100% reserved. All the way there.
Some of the questions are more geared towards outward expression.
Yeah.
You know, like that one.
Well, that one is specifically outward expression.
Yeah.
You more about the letter of the law or the spirit of the law?
This important Skybreaker question.
That one's a bit more tough.
I don't.
A little more towards spirit.
Do you drive over the speed limit?
Hmm?
Do you drive
Oh,
over the
oh.
speed limit? I mean, that's most people.
Seven
but
and a half over.
You
That's
think,
like the kind of thing.
I go 7.5 over.
7.5. I cap out at 4. I mean 5 over.
Oh, my uncle's
Same
a
here.
police officer and said like they don't ever pull people over if they're going less than 10 over.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that
That's
my whole life
debatable
too.
here.
It depends on the
Florida.
police officer, obviously. He's up in Indiana, so
Okay, I've heard that over on the highway. If you're going from people here in Florida,
Unless-
I've heard on the highway, if you're going less than 10 over, they won't pull you over. Or unless you're driving erratically.
Yeah, unless you're in Georgia, then
Yeah.
Now, if Nail, the Herald of the Skybreakers, was here right now, he'd murder all of us.
that's true.
What are we thinking?
For
60%?
A
little
little more. 65, 70.
All right, we'll go 70. What are you, Josh? You more spirit of law, or letter of the law?
I feel like I'm more. I feel like I'm both. Like, speed limit is not a good
Depends
thing.
on the stupid law.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess in some ways, like there's some things where it's like the spirit of this is obviously this, you know. But then there's other things where when it comes to like if someone says something to me, like asks me to do something or tells me how to do something or whatever, I'm not comfortable like just interpreting the spirit of what I think they're saying. I'm like, I'm going to do exactly what they said unless I ask them. And so a lot of times in the past, and I've gotten better with that with work, but in the past with work, I would, if I was given like a project, I would ask a lot of questions. So if I come to this situation, how do you want me to handle it? Because I want to know what they want in those specific situations, not just be guided by like this general spiritual principle or whatever.
That has more to do with confidence.
Yeah.
Like
Thanks,
how confident
Caleb.
are you in your responsibilities?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I definitely fall a little bit more into the spirit of the law, and that, I mean, specifically at work, because we have specific protocol that we fall under. Protocol, if I follow that to the T, that's following the letter of the law. I kind of look at it more of the spirit of law. Here's where the kind of bounds I need to stay within, but not every patient falls into these parameters. So sometimes you got to kind of give and take. And, you know, I know people at work who've definitely pushed past the protocol and have had to explain to the medical director why they did. But when they explain it, the medical director's like, no, you were right. You should have done that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot of, there is this like law that's there and you should definitely follow the spirit of it. And it's there to help guide you. But if you follow it, you know, we call it a cookbook medic where you literally just follow protocol and that's it. But
Yeah,
the thing is you can't treat every patient.
Therefore, when you don't know the end goal.
Yes.
I feel like for me, it's more of a thing where it's like there's been enough times where, you know, someone communicates something and it seems to me really obvious what they're communicating is this. And then a more specific scenario will arise and if I made a decision and that they're like, you should have done it this way. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to ask you. I'm not going to.
That also depends on the person who's telling
That's
you.
also true, yeah.
So some of it is like that. It's like that scenario I don't enjoy.
Yeah. That's fair.
I don't enjoy like being like, well, you told me this. Did you not mean this? You know, did you not mean what you said?
Yeah, that also gets more into less your interpretation, their communication skills.
Right. So I'd rather just
Ask
take that out of it. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb, you feel more free spirited or disciplined?
This one. Probably 70-ish. Maybe 80. 80.
You more rebellious or obedient?
Mm.
Empire or rebellion?
I already said he's a guard dog, so
Pretty far obedient. Well, 70.
now he's feeling rebellious.
Depends on who's telling me what to do.
I rebel against this question.
If I think I know better than them, I will rebel all day long.
Are you sure you think you're 70%? No.
Is that obedience?
Creative or conventional?
Conventional. Probably 80.
Dependable or flexible?
I think we all know this one.
Those are interesting.
Define
dichotomies.
dependable and flexible.
Yeah, because dependable and flexible are different.
Because
Well,
those are
It seems like
different
putting
things.
juxtaposing them implies that flexible means
You're flaky.
that you're more like.
But also, remember, this is not supposed to be like a bad, like, none of these are necessarily bad things.
Right.
The thing is why they're using flexible instead of flaky.
they're
more of-
yeah. What would be a positive?
Are you more set or
Probably more setter or more willing
Flowing.
to
I don't know?
flow around.
It's like someone who's dependable, right? It's like if they say they're going to be there, they're going to be there. But at the same time, that person may not be as, like, when I think of flexible in that context, I would think of it as more not free spirited, but like doing things on a whim, you know, because it's like if you're super dependable, then like you're all about making sure you don't like violate their like what you said you're going to do. So you can't be as flexible, right? It's like I can't be flexible because I'm supposed to be doing these things. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess flexible could fall into like you are still going to follow what they said. Like you're still dependable, but you're going to flex the limits of getting that done.
Maybe, yeah.
Pushing it to the very last minute.
Regardless, probably about 90% dependable. I will literally, because I have said that I don't like turkey, fish, or coffee, I will never like turkey, fish, or coffee, even if I may.
That doesn't sound like dependability. That sounds like
but it's like
stubbornness.
Because I said it, it has to be true. Like I have to make sure that it is true.
But truths can change. Well, not truths, but like your own interpretation of what you view as good.
What are you, a light weaver? Talking about truths.
I do believe in ultimate truths. So truths can't change, but some truths can change. Like your truth that you don't like these things can change.
But that extends beyond that. Like if I
at what point did this?
Something, but I say one thing, then I will make sure that is true.
You're just stubborn. That's not dependability.
At what point did
Stubbornness
you?
Leads to dependability, because if I say something, it's true.
So you stubbornly dependable. At what point did you decide? Like, at what point did you say, I don't like turkey, and then you're like, okay, this is locked in? Like, at what point do you remember?
I remember having like store-bought turkey lunch meat and not liking it.
Okay, to be fair, that's kind of gross.
I mean, like this, and you decided this is the thing I'm not going to like.
I've had Thanksgiving turkey that isn't terrible, but
what do you mean store-bought turkey lunch meat is gross? Like it's just turkey.
It's not like the best.
It's bad.
It's not the best. It's not just.
It's not the best, so it's gross.
It can smell like it's on the brink of going bad at any point.
I will eat it. Don't get me wrong.
What?
And I'll enjoy eating it.
I'm confused.
But it's not my favorite.
What's the alternative to store-bought turkey? Like where else do you get turkey?
Ham lunch meat.
Huh?
Where else do you get turkey? Like a full actual Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, that's the only time that turkey is appropriate to eat. Do you eat turkey then?
No, I think
my family always had ham and turkey.
So you would just go with a ham to be dependable, or what? Not dependable. Is it dependable? Is that what we're still talking about? I still want to delve into this more.
You can have a full turkey other times than Thanksgiving.
I can,
but it's different than turkey lunch meat. That is a different type of.
Obviously, I'm defensive because I eat turkey lunch meat on the regular.
I also eat it. I had some literally the other day, but it's not my favorite. I don't like. I like ham a lot. Like ham that you would eat at like Christmas dinner, but I do not like ham lunch meat. Actually, I ate turkey lunch meat yesterday from Wawa. What?
I wasn't challenging whether you.
I don't know. Whatever. Down to earth or head in the clouds.
Down to earth. Probably 80, 90.
I'll put you at just to mix up 92%.
That works.
You think more outside of the box, or you color inside the lines?
Inside the lines. I guess probably 80, 90.
That's why the lines are there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll do 85 since you keep giving me a in the middle point.
That is kind of a weird one, though. Like coloring outside the lines. I feel like at a certain point, everyone colors inside the lines, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
obviously, I know what they mean, but
there are no lines to color outside of. If you're
what? If you're colorblind, you still see the lines.
If you make the drawing yourself and start with color, then there's no lines to color inside of because you're forming it out of the color. Like painters. Okay, disregard. Tense or more tense or relaxed?
Relaxed.
Windrunners are interesting. I'll just say that.
What about 80%?
I'll die for you, so what?
80.
80 what?
80.
Relaxed.
Okay. Decisive or indecisive?
Gotta answer quick.
60 indecisive.
I don't know. I think that was a little too quick of an answer to say 60 indecisive. I think I went pretty far on that one.
Likes change or likes stability?
Probably 90% stability.
I feel that. Planner or spontaneous?
Planner. 80.
So, and that's different from flexible and dependable. Interesting.
Well, it's more future and then dependable is present. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ends justify the means or honorable actions?
A little bit of 50.
50-50?
Yeah, leave it in the middle.
Nice. Where do you fall on that one, Josh?
I think I went definitely pretty high on honorable actions. Like I'm trying to think of ends justify the means kind of scenarios that I would be okay with, and there's not many.
Actually,
What about you?
Put it a bit further in honorable action.
60?
Yeah.
Oh no, I tipped you. I
I
influenced
just
you.
thought of other scenarios.
What about you, Jeremiah? You seem
I fall
troubled.
more into honorable actions, but I mean, I can understand. My thing is like,
What's
I definitely
what's an ends justify the means thing for you?
kill this person now to save 3 lives later.
Like what person though? Anyone?
Just a person.
Like, what if it's me?
Ends justify the means. That's what I'm saying. It's just
No.
like, my thing is like, so I really fall under that.
That's enough wine for you.
I fall far. No, let me finish. I fall under honorable actions more, just because it's just what I believe. But I can understand an ends justify the means.
You can understand
Aspect.
a utilitarian view.
Those are my favorite villains, where like their ends, they do things because the ends justify. They're trying to justify the means, their ends, by saying if I do this, then I will save this many people, or I will change the world, or I'll do this. But ultimately, what they're still doing is still wrong. And just because killing this one person may save 4 later, doesn't mean you should just still kill this innocent person. And that's where I fall.
I'm glad.
In that time, the end doesn't justify the means. I wouldn't kill you to save 3 other people, Josh.
Oh, okay, good.
Unless
Who
one
would
of those 3 is Stephanie, then maybe.
He's obligated. He has a vow.
To save Stephanie.
He has to.
Yeah, at that point, she comes first.
That's
Sorry.
fair.
Caleb, be more playful or serious?
Serious? Stephanie?
That's a great next question after ends justify the means.
That one depends on how drunk I am.
I mean, Anakin is 100% ends justify the means if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like children.
Anakin
Yep.
definitely-
Since there's justification for this.
If I do this, I'll get the power to save my wife, and
Right.
justify the means. Whereas honorable actions is definitely more of a probably Luke Skywalker is a very honorable actions man.
Yeah,
I may die here,
Yeah,
but I know that my father
But I-
enlightened him, and
yeah.
I will hold to that. I will not kill him.
but I stood on principle.
But
Yeah.
even the forgiving thing of
Mhm.
the principally forgiving this person, even though the justification, is not doesn't balance out, from a certain standpoint.
Tells the truth or bends the truth.
Tells the truth. 90.
10% of the time you can't trust this guy.
That's the indecisiveness showing.
That's
Never put all the
literally-
way at something.
Literally
Right.
me. If I'd
Well-
rather do this, I'm like, I'm not going 100%.
The only absolute is that there are no absolutes.
That's an absolute, my friend.
Yes, that's
He
only
said there's the
Oh,
only
yeah, you're right.
absolute.
The only
Sorry.
absolute is that there are no absolutes.
You guys like that? That meme, the Jedi meme I sent you?
Yeah.
Are you a Jedi? Yes. Sith Lord. Are you a Jedi? No. Sith Lord. Are you a Jedi? I don't know.
Maybe.
Jedi.
Jedi.
Likes to take things apart. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Take things apart. 70.
I'm definitely very far on if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm a halfway.
I like understanding. Like, that's my
Yeah.
thing, is I want to understand how and why it works.
I don't want to break it by taking it apart.
I trust myself enough to know that.
I don't.
I'm like a half. I'm halfway. Maybe
Building
maybe a little bit more
it
to
took
like
me a long
things,
time
like
to build a
take things apart.
computer. Because it's like if the computer keeps working, then I'll just,
Hotel or camping?
What was it?
Hotel or camping?
That one depends on
Oh, okay.
mood and company. Put it 50.
Fencing or boxing?
Fencing. 70.
The finesse involved with fencing.
Mm.
Artistic or scientific?
Scientific. 90.
You said artistic 90?
Scientific.
Book smart, street smart.
70 book smart.
Paladin or rogue? It's Brady getting his D&D questions in.
Backstabber or front stabber?
Honorable killer or unhonorable killer?
More paladin. Probably about 70. That one's iffy because in games I like playing rogue play style, but as a person I would associate more with paladins.
Well, that's the fun part about playing D&D is that you go opposite of what you normally are.
Yes.
Competitive or casual?
I'm casual because I'm competitive.
What does that
50-50?
Yeah.
What does
That's
that
that's why I chill so much, because if I don't,
Same.
I get competitive.
I understand that.
okay.
If I let myself get into that mood, then I get very competitive.
I understand that.
Is that the
A
more
lot.
internal thing though? Like, do you need to go more with your internal than just how you
They're
how
both,
you control
they're both
it?
very internal.
Yeah, I actually completely understand. I would also
Okay.
fall 50-50 on this
So you
one.
just like don't let yourself go towards the competitive. Like you just like just
don't
like,
feed the dark
No.
side.
Because like it's
no.
if I'm gonna do something, I'm
Not
gonna do it
unlocking
right,
that.
and I'm gonna do it the best.
Uh-huh.
And if I don't
So
win,
if I don't even try, then I'm not competing.
yes. And if I
So
start
those
doing
are the
that,
two options.
Yeah.
yeah. And if you do that and you don't win, then you get upset.
Yes.
And so if you stay casual and you're just like, you know what, I'm just playing, not a competition.
That is an interesting,
You don't get upset.
very interesting.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I had to learn, because if I win with Stephanie, then she gets mad, and if I let her win, then she gets mad.
Ah.
So
And if
she's not in her
And
head.
if you talk
So
about
now I just can't be competitive, because if I win, it's just a lose-lose. Transparency, you need to know.
so
What's that even?
I
Like, are you transparent, or is it like more like you are like people?
Oh, transparent. Like 80.
yeah, I think need to know would be
That's fair.
Like if anybody asks, I'll say. But if you don't ask, I'm not going to say.
That's fair.
I guess need to know would just be like you don't need to know. You just be more
Yeah. So like I'm not going to tell you.
yeah. You don't need to know that.
Caleb, ready to say the words?
Oh, we're there.
Did I say the words to get the answer?
Say at least the first.
Life before death.
What's next?
Or is it?
Yeah.
That's the first one.
That's
Okay.
the first one, and then this one.
And then strike before weakness and then journey before destination.
Yep.
Now say it again into the mic.
Life before death. Strike before weakness. Journey before destination.
These words are accepted.
We've just been through the journey.
Now,
Oh, what is it? What is he? Da, 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 da.
you will seek truth.
Oh,
You are a truth watcher.
Oh, you are Renarin.
That's fine. That works.
You are a truth watcher, which gives you access to the surges of progression and regrowth and illumination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Progression and regrowth allows you to heal organisms and alter their growth. Illumination allows you to create illusions. The Truth Watchers are seen as reserved and quiet, mostly known as the most scholarly order of the Knights Radiant. They do tend to attract scientists primarily, but also scholars or thinkers of all types. This extends to some who might not normally be known as scholarly, but instead as someone reserved, often consumed by their own thoughts. In general, they tend to be reserved, particularly in person, though a small minority of Truth Watchers are greatly concerned with the actions of the powerful and might be likened to investigative reporters. These make their opinions known loudly and forcefully, particularly if they think someone in power is abusing that power or lying about fundamental truths. Note that, like all Knights Radiant, there's a great disagreement within the Order about what is the truth. However, Truth Watchers tend to approach these discussions with enthusiasm, even if they generally prefer to write their opinions rather than speak them. Among the Knights Radiant, the Truth Watchers tend to be those who hold the knowledge and secrets of surge binding, and are the ones to discover many of the newer advances in things like Fabrial technology. You were 76% Truth Watcher. Your next was 63% Edge Dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Tied with 63% Else Caller. 60% Windrunner and Skybreaker. 50% Stoneward. 49% Bondsmith. 32% Will Shaper. 27% Dustbringer. 21% Lightweaver.
Huh. It was pretty overwhelming. I mean, like the distance between your first and second are
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like I was pretty close to Windrunner, but was more towards Edge Dancer. How do you feel about that? Like listening to that, do you feel like it sounds right? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Read the Stoneward.
Stoneward. I will be there when I'm needed. Stoneward Oaths focus on team dynamics, on learning to work with others, and on being there for those who need them. They put the interest of others before their own, and will not bend their ideals for the sake of convenience. Stonewards are the infantry and ground troops of the Radiants, and are renowned as their finest soldiers. A title that, on occasion, the Windrunners dispute. They tend to attract those who are most interested in warfare, prowess with weapons, or athletics of any sort. They like a challenge, and in times of peace are seen engaging in and running various sporting events of both a military and non-military nature. Many enjoy the outdoors, and you'll find the exploration enthusiasts among them. as well as those who just like the fresh air. They tend to be known for their can-do attitudes and for taking on enormous projects. However, most agree that the primary attribute of the stonewards is their dependability. Though sometimes gregarious, they are never flightly. If a stoneward is your friend, they will be there for you, and that is a core tenet of their order. To be there when they are needed. Another key attribute is their ability to take a difficult situation with few resources and make something better of it. Though not known as inventors or creators, they are good at improvising solutions to problems in the moment. I feel like that fits. Half that fits with you.
Kind of, yeah. Does that mean Hoyt is a stoneward?
Well, he's a Lightweaver.
But yeah, but he's
But-
there. He is where he's needed.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I think that's part of why they did the quiz this way, is to kind of show that it's not like...
They're not like mutually exclusive.
Right, that you have a little bit of you probably have a little bit of them in you. You know, you have... I mean, if you got 30%, unless you got 0% something,
Yeah.
then there's some aspect of what you chose that goes along with some of them, you know. And it did say 50% stonewards. So I mean, I thought he's not, but I thought that TN was a stoneward. Like,
Did they say what he was going to be?
Lightweaver.
Lightweaver. That makes sense.
Yeah, if he was canonically bonding a cryptic spren, apparently. But I thought for sure, especially I think it was when after I read Rhythm of War, and he's talking to Kaladin in the vision. I was like, it just sounded like a stoneward to me, because he was talking about how he like Kaladin's like, why did you go? You know, because he said he volunteered. He wasn't like forced to go. He volunteered to go with the people that were the messengers that were. It was a suicide mission. And Kaladin's like, why did you go? And he's like, because they needed to feel brave. Someone to help them feel brave. But apparently that's the thing with Lightweavers, though, is when you're around Lightweavers, they bring out the best in people. So apparently that's a Lightweaver thing. But anyway,
I think it's
just a side tangent.
I think it's more personal with the Lightweaver than the stoneward is more team focused. Less like you and one other person. It's you and everybody else.
Okay. That makes sense. More about the group than like individual relationships or something, maybe. Yeah. Nice. That was fun. Any final thoughts? Do you have any order thoughts, quiz thoughts, Windrunner thoughts?
I mean,
the Windrunner faction.
Windrunners are the best. That's all I'm saying.
Windrunners think that. Edge dancers just go and do what they need to do to help the forgotten and neglected.
Remembering the ordinary people of the world.
All right.
How do you feel knowing that you're a truth watcher?
Yeah, that works.
He'll be watching it. I guess he'll be watching us.
Just like a truth walker.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Have you on again. And this has been a Bridge of Two podcast.
A far, far away bridge.
Yeah. I was like directing you like in the choir.
And see.
Good.